recording. Here we are. We're ready, dude. We're
What's
recording.
Up, dude?
I've been wanting to have you on the podcast since I started my podcast. In all honesty, watching you do your own thing on Spotify helped me get my shit started.
Really? Wow, thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, I really respect the balls you have for doing your own
Honestly,
podcast and doing shit like that.
Yeah, dude, I get that. I feel like, we live in an age where people are sheeps, They'd rather just keep quiet and not say anything, what's going on in their mind. And you know what? If you want to be more genuine and have some sort of character, why don't maybe voice out your opinion?
Yeah, no.
And I don't know. But I'm glad you're doing well. This is an amazing setup.
Thank you.
A good time.
Thank you. I would just bring that microphone a little closer.
Okay.
So you can probably readjust that shit and bring that shit just a little closer. You move that shit too.
Okay.
To down. If you move that shit down. But it's okay if you can't. That's probably good. Probably just come a little closer to the mic so people can hear you. I just want people to hear your beautiful voice, Christian.
Is this
you
better?
are a Trump supporter, though. I want to get right off this on the bat. Is that you're a Trump supporter?
Yes, I am a Trump supporter.
And you're a minority Trump supporter.
100%.
And how does that affect things? You must be asked why do you support him?
I get shit talked all the time.
Yeah.
It's all right, so at school, it's kind of different because it's not more like I'm a hardcore Trumpy.
Right.
I just think there's a lot of things going on in our government.
Yeah.
Specifically even Democrats and traditionally some Republicans, establishment ones that are, I don't know, he's the anti-establishment. Like he's saying, drain the swamp. Genuinely, there's a lot of swamp and a lot of shit that's going on in our government that people are not noticing, and I feel like he's the biggest F you to them. So that's why I love him. And then the other thing is just the media paints this terrible narrative that he's this racist white supremacist and all that, and I can show people clips of him denouncing white supremacy if you want.
Right.
Anyone wants to take their time, sure, but I get from other minorities because they're, to be honest, most of them. But that's not even their fault. It's just they watch a certain news like CNN or all these other fake newses, and they are manipulated in a way, thinking that this, and it's a little bit worse because I'm a minority, so they're like, oh, you're an Uncle Tom, you're all this, all that, and I'm like, no. How about we promote a conversation instead? Yeah, no,
I think that conversations are very, very important right now, more so than ever. And I think one of the things that Trump did that I was really behind was he was one of the only politicians, I think, recently to say military-industrial complex. To say those words together, he's been one of the only politicians to do that of recent. And so for that I thought that was really fucking impressive and brave for someone to do that, especially going against the Republicans, being a Republican and being against war and things like that, and sending people to war. I mean, it was great. It was good to see. And obviously, there's probably some things that Trump says that you don't fully support either, right?
Right, 100%.
Yeah.
I tell people this all the time.
Oh shit, my bad. A little technical malfunction, no problem. Go ahead, keep going.
Okay. What I tell people this all the time, it's not like Trump's the biggest genius in the world. Granted, I think they did a study. The way he talks is like a fifth grader. It's hilarious. But the thing is, it's sometimes he says something and he's the best way to explain it's like a cartoon. He's that guy who just runs up to the shoot, I forgot what it's called, the rake, and then the rake just straight up hits him in the face. Yeah. And that's the kind of guy he is. He doesn't elaborate. He kind of just goes whatever's off his mind. Right. And that's what kind of sometimes people like about him, that he's more vocal. Maybe sometimes he's not accurate, but he is, if he's this is what I tell people. Democrats lie behind your back. Republicans will lie in front of your face.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. Basically the difference.
Yeah, no, that is 100% fair. And it was kind of frustrating to see that one of the things that people liked about Trump, that he would just kind of go off of whatever the fuck was off of his head, and that he would say shit like the industrial complex thing, and he would talk about these things that were otherwise taboo to other politicians. He would just say whatever the fuck was on his mind, and that was almost used against him in the media and things like that, because he would just say these preposterous things. The most recent one was I forget what it was, but he was talking about the coronavirus, about how we could solve the coronavirus. He was talking about something with light
Oh
being
yes.
injected. Like, and you could clearly tell in the clip that he was just talking shit.
Right.
Like, he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. Well, why don't we just do this? Like, I don't
Right.
know. Like, it wasn't like a legitimate proposal, but
He was
then
just making like an awkward suggestion. Yeah.
right, exactly. And the left took that and they ran with it. I mean, they just fucking, look what he's saying. He's such a moron. Like, all these things, which I guess this is a good question too. How do you think Hillary would have handled COVID? I mean, what do you think it would have
Oh my
been
gosh.
way
I think
worse?
there'd be way more deaths. That like, I don't know. It's just like it's kind of funny how Hillary thinks that she's still significant. Like if you look at her, she always says, "Oh, I still got cheated from the election." I don't think she would have done any better. And I don't think, if let's put a humanistic perspective, I don't think anyone could really have done better.
No.
Like who could have prepared for Corona?
No one.
Like
No
no
one.
one. Let's be real. Like,
No one.
If we tried to do our own thing, and then all across Europe they tried to do their own lockdown. Some did or some did not, and everyone got fucked over. Like, so why are we playing as if it's just an American thing?
Right.
And it's just like it's hard. But people have a paganistic view. It's just like kind of like the economy. If the economy is good, then the president's good. It's kind of the same shit for this, but like on a more exacerbated level.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think about China recently with the coronavirus is that if you try to blame the Chinese government, you come off as racist.
Right.
And I literally have not supported that notion for a second. The Chinese government completely fucked this whole thing up. I mean, they were lying about it before. They were, they weren't giving accurate results. They didn't tell people about it when it first came out and first started
CNN
happening.
tried covering that too.
Right,
Right?
exactly, they did.
And then what? Last week they said, "Oh, hey, China lied." I'm like, no fucking kidding.
Yeah,
dude.
what did you
We all knew
expect?
this. Are you like? But they try to play that narrative.
Right, exactly. And like the thing with TikTok, the more recent thing is the TikTok thing is that, I mean, they're literally Chinese businessmen saying that, like, oh, no, that doesn't happen in China. Like, there's a separation. I'm like, do you know how communism works?
Right.
I mean, that's just not how communism works, is that you work with the government. That's how the communism is essentially supposed to work.
Controlled by the state.
Yeah.
And this is what I was telling people about TikTok. Like, Trump needs to worry about other things than TikTok. I'm like, all right. It's just you're hating on this idea because it's Trump and it's a very popular social media thing. But like this is a real story that's happened. My cousin Juliana, a couple months back, she came up to me the other day. She said, "Oh, I hate Trump." I'm like, "Bro, you're like 8 years old. How do you have any sort of idea?" And well, she said, "TikTok told me that. Told me to. People are always mad. People are always screaming about that." And that's where I'm saying there's a manipulation. You think that they don't overtly play those videos to people? Like, that's how China gets you. It's not like they're actually hacking into all your stuff. If they're playing these little subliminal messages, so
and
they
they
starts
don't,
getting little kids.
Yeah,
and like,
exactly.
That's the thing. And then it's just because Trump says it, it's now this huge, big deal. But,
Right. Right, exactly. And the big thing is that I think the biggest thing for people to know is that China does not give a fuck who wins our election. There's zero fucks. Like, Joe Biden or Trump, China's happy. They just want people to hate the system.
Right.
And so for it, like you said, there's an 8-year-old going onto TikTok hating a politician at 8 years old. There's a clear problem with that. I mean, unless the politician is legitimately terrible like Hitler, which we can both agree.
Right.
No matter what Donald Trump is, he's not
still
Hitler.
At 8 years old, doesn't know a single thing.
Right.
How
Yeah.
can you
Even
have
at 8
emotions
years
hate?
old, would
Like,
you be able to
what?
comprehend what was going on?
Right.
Like, I don't know, but that's not a question to ask me. But you're right. Like, there are legitimate people who like Trump, and then there are legitimate people who hate Trump, and you're getting 8-year-olds to side with an ideology. Yeah, no, that's a legitimate problem, I think. And I don't know if it's it could be very well being spread by China, but like there's
This is just a little bit of the culture war. Like, this is what I try to tell people. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna move this a little to the election side, but like, did you see how Texas wanted to secede from the union? Did you see that?
No,
it was on
no.
Fox News. A very famous GOP lawmaker said he wants that Texas secede from the union because of this whole election mess, and that Texas lost their lawsuit even though they should have had standing. and I don't need to go into super details, but there's this thing of the culture war. It's like there's growing members. There's a lot of people who signed on to that Texas lawsuit that was against the other states because they changed their election laws, which was unconstitutional to their own state laws and to the electors clause.
Okay.
So 20 states signed on to that Texas lawsuit.
Okay.
120 House Republicans signed on. That's a big deal.
Right.
That means there's a huge polarized divide in our country where there's a lot of people that don't accept this election. Think about it right now. Joe Biden had what, 74 million? I don't remember the number, but like it was close. It was at least half.
It was so close.
It was 50-50.
It was so close.
There's half of the country that doesn't agree with this election.
Yeah.
And there are actually Democrats who think there may be fraud. This is where the culture war begins. First, it starts to the youth, and then it gets into the politicians, even in the bigger scapes. You're going to have all these inner battles in between people. Crazy things, too, like at a political level. In Texas, too, there's football teams. There were two teams that were fighting each other. One had a Black Lives Matter flag. The other one had a Blue Lives Matter.
Yeah.
A simple level of high school normal life is now being affected by this divide in our country.
Yeah.
And this is where the culture... I genuinely think that you will see in maybe 30 years, 20 years, some states probably seceding from the union. And like this is where the culture comes in. It's just like...
So there's talk of civil war going on in this country. And you're predicting is like 20 to 30 years ish.
Well, this is the thing. I think we're in a civil war right now.
You think we're in a...
It's a propaganda civil war.
Okay.
Think about it like this. It doesn't have to be... It's not going to be like one day Anderson Cooper is going to come up to say, attention, America, we are in a civil war. That's never going to happen.
Right.
No one's going to fight each other. But this is the propaganda war. You're starting to see things that are censored and things that are being manipulated or half-truths. Think, for example, the Hunter Biden story about the emails and all that illegal stuff. You remember a couple weeks back how that was said, it was Russian disinformation, and then now after the election it said, oh wait, they're actually investigating him? That changed the election itself. There's so many websites and stuff.
The biggest thing was, I remember in California they were like, we'll start releasing things, like during COVID things is when... Because during the summer, most of the country opened up. Even Massachusetts did, which is a blue state. It started to open up a little bit more during the summer. They were saying, we're not going to open anything up until the election. And that's like,
crazy.
What are you fucking doing? Are you trying to make this like hide it even a little bit? 0%? Yeah, that to me was a little concerning. Do you think that a state can just leave the United States without a civil war happening? Do you think of, like, because I know Texas was one day in that space, right? Texas was one day not really formally a part of the United States, but they were, like, right next to each other, so they kind of had to be friends. Do you think that can happen today? Because I don't.
I don't think that we'll ever have, like, gunfare between civil wars. But, it's kind of crazy, like, you're actually getting... So in Georgia, I don't know how close you're watching the Senate races and how this is kind of a big deal. Like, if Joe Biden is our elect president or will be the president...
Who do you think won? Let's start off with that. Do you think Trump won?
I think he won.
You think he won?
100% I think he won.
100%?
I think he won, but if I had a bet on it, I would say Biden won. But I have a gut feeling. The thing is this. Yeah. They had all these lawsuits.
Do you think that a gut feeling is through feelings, though? Like, because you love Trump so much? Or do you think you honestly believe that?
I know. It's not even just for the love of Trump. It's for... There's stuff like even through Dominion. I don't know if you saw this in Atrium County in Michigan.
I did not.
So I'll just give you a little pre-context.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Absolutely.
So 6,000 votes were changed from President Trump to Biden through the Dominion voting system in Atrium.
Yeah.
It's early November, they said, it was due to human error.
Yeah.
Now we're getting reports released from a judge saying that there was a forensic investigation through Harvard and MIT grad program that says that those machines were actually manipulated, and it was purposely by design that there was built-in errors to change votes.
Yeah.
So that means there are 36 counties that use those Dominion voting systems in just Michigan alone, all in question. But the thing is, there's so many instances like that where there is somewhat evidence.
Right.
Evidence doesn't mean proof. That's the thing. You have to investigate. It has to go under court for it
Right.
to be verified. But there's evidence. And this is what I tell people. It's like you walk into a room and you see smoke. You don't know how big the fire is, but you see smoke.
Of course.
Democrats are saying no. They don't care if they see the smoke. They don't want to see it. And that's where now there might be a lot of evidence. There might be sworn affidavits.
Do you think that it's a problem of how Trump is talking about this, though? Because personally, I don't know who won the election. I'm going to flat out say I don't know who won the election. Honestly, forthcomingly, I don't know. I think, though, that Trump saying, I 100% won the election. There's no doubt about it. We're going to get this. We're going to win this. We're going to take this over. Do you think that that's a problem? Because if what I was to do in Donald Trump's position of if I was in Donald Trump's position and I thought that I lost unfairly, I would say, hey, there's some evidence. We're going to look into it. I'm not 100% sure.
Right.
And we're going to find out who the real leader of this country is. That's what I would say. What Donald Trump is saying, I 100% won, no doubt about it, and I'm going to take care of this.
And I think it's dangerous in a way.
I do too.
I think it's 100% dangerous because, like I said, there's evidence, but there's no proof.
Right.
You can't say that you won this because you are going to split this country a new one. There's, like I said, there's this huge divide already, and you don't technically know you won. The thing is, though,
even though that I think that that's important what you just said. You, someone who you personally think 100% that Donald Trump won, saying that Donald Trump doesn't know if he 100% won. I think that that's very important. But go ahead, continue.
Thank you. The thing is, I think he has to, because this is the thing. You have to gain confidence. The whole way society works is built on confidence. If no one has confidence in the government or believes in any of it, they have no power.
Okay.
So if he starts getting his base, which is a huge portion of the base,
it's a huge base.
To believe, although it's a huge risk, he needs to convince them that there is something wrong to keep that fire going for him to push this. Or because, like I said, a lot of Democrats are saying, no, I'm not going to look at it. No, get out of here. He needs to in a way. But it is detrimental, and it is causing huge problems.
You think he needs to because it's a part of who he is? Like Donald Trump being like this big boss, he's got the gold letters on his building. He's the badass.
I think this is what plays into it. I don't get exactly right. You would never get this from anyone else, but that's why people love him.
Right.
He's a populist, and I think this is where actually
you think what I'm trying to say is you think his fan base would be like, this is fucking bullshit if he just came out and was like, I don't know if I 100% won, but I'm pretty sure I won.
Yeah, they're not going to believe him. They're not going to believe him. Or not going to believe him. There's going to be more doubt. You have to sell it. You have to sell it in either way. And think about it like this. Right now, the Democrats did this right now. They sold that Joe Biden was the president-elect literally right after. Even though before the election, they said, guys, we have to wait. We have to see mail-in ballots could be the riskiest thing. But now mail-in ballots is the most secure thing in the world.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's the game. They already played their game. This is his card back.
I think that it was a problem when one party wants something and the other doesn't, especially when it comes to mail-in voting. That whole thing was weird. And that we were just kind of allowing, like one party clearly wanted it to happen and the others didn't. And then there was just like this huge thing about it. My biggest question was, why couldn't we just have voted online? I've gotten responses back of like, would be challenging and things like that. And to that I say, fuck you, get it done. Where's my tax money going here? This is a lot of fucking money we're giving to you motherfuckers. And you can't just fucking figure out how to vote online. We can bank online. Why can't we vote? It's something that has never really made sense to me. But it was very concerning to see one party want something and then the other one didn't. And there was, even before the election, there was question of who was going to win. there was no straight answer.
Right, and they already started saying before, like Hillary Clinton said to Joe Biden, he's like, don't accept the election until after weeks, until everything's settled. It's like, there was such a, think about it, this is the most amount of time we've had people voting.
Yeah.
Because people were confined and everybody got their ballots. Some states even, they got ballots when they're not even, they requested it, which is not right. But anyways, that's the thing. Like, you know what's the craziest thing? Did you know Joe Biden has more votes than Barack Obama?
I did not know that. That's
Joe Biden,
yeah.
who didn't campaign, who most people don't know any of his policies, got more votes than Barack Obama.
Yeah.
I just want that to sink in.
Yeah, that is crazy. I don't think that necessarily supports the claim that there was voter fraud because
No, right, no.
but I get what you're saying is
Right.
that is fucking insane. Yeah, and one of the things with Obama is that he's so well loved, and then like if you get into Snowden and specifically, what is it, Syria? I don't think it's Syria.
He's the most authoritarian president in my lifetime. And
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Like, so specifically Snowden. I don't know how many people know this because we were younger when this happened. Like,
Right.
They found out from the WikiLeaks that they were wiretapping everything. They saw into everything, and it was supposedly because we need to protect terrorism. Like, are you kidding me? But a lot of people don't know about that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. No. That.
Guess who's vice president then too?
Yeah, Joe Biden.
Do you know how many people within his cabinets are now from like Facebook CEOs, Microsoft, and all these big?
I
techs?
don't know.
Oh, I'm just saying, but like, yeah. But like, they think they're getting like this happy-go-lucky, not even socialist, but like better version, whatever. It's not Trump, but you're getting this corporate guy that everyone's been hating, and he's gonna put so much taxes onto you in a struggling pandemic.
Yeah.
It's
well,
just like, I don't know.
I really don't understand how they managed to get behind the defund the police movement.
Well, that's what killed them. If you look at it, besides the Trump derangement system, you look at the Senate seats, it all kind of went Republican when they thought they were going to destroy them. Like in the polls beforehand, they were saying how, Republicans, it was going to be the blue landslide, the blue ocean. And it's like, didn't happen.
Do you think that Trump would have won if it, because I've heard this a lot. I think this. If COVID didn't happen, do you think that Trump would have won easily? Yeah.
Easily. He would have got it.
Yeah.
People are sick and tired of the culture war. Like, and people, like, this is the things the Democrats have been pushing. It's not even basically their policies. They've been pushing this intersectionality thing and, like, meaning, like, all this, like, gender stuff, all this, like, or, like, you're racist for things that are not even racist, like, all that crap.
Yeah.
Everyday people don't like that.
No.
They don't. They don't sympathize it. And then when a lot of Democrats or a lot of people support that, they're like, oh, the uneducated white Trump supporter don't know crap. I'm like, first of all, I don't even know if you know this. The Republican Party right now is the working class party. All those people, they don't have to. They don't need a college. Having a college degree doesn't mean you're smart.
Right.
You have your other preferences. You have your other priorities. That even a lot of people agree that racism is a big deal, and that we must tackle it, and that racism does affect us. But my bad, real quick. No worries.
Oh, there we go.
Thank you. But now people are like specifically like Democratic officials and Democrats are saying, "Oh, you're this terrible. You're a white supremacist. You support Trump and all that crap." It's just like you're causing just a greater divide.
Right. Yeah. No. People do not like added stress in their life. Like there was a lot of stress going on before the pandemic, and now that the pandemic has happened, I wonder if the people are gonna start like going the other way with transgender stuff, with all that racism stuff, with all this like just randomly calling out things and stuff like that. I wonder if that's gonna change.
I think if Biden gets the presidency, you will see that 10 times more.
Yeah.
I to think about it, the only reason why it was like a thing was because Trump was calling them all out on these policies. Like Barack Obama was pushing this too, in a way, towards the end of his last 4 years. Like this is just a culmination of what was from Barack to Trump.
And it's so funny. I mean, really, that like the Donald Trump guy who's now seen as racist and homophobic and all these other words, was relatively pretty known as progressive throughout the 80s and 90s.
Right.
Like going on TV saying that he has no problem with men hooking up with each other, that he doesn't think that it's an issue.
He was a New York Democrat, like so super social, like liberalism and all
Right.
that crap. And
Yeah.
but like for when it comes to the economy, he was like more like conservative.
Right, exactly.
Like yeah, you're right. He was a Dem.
I think that he should. I mean, if he loses this election, I think he'll run again in 2024.
100%.
I don't think they should go with the Republican Party. I really don't. I think they should run independent, and I think that if he did run independent, first of all, it would open up the windows for others
Right.
to run independent. Like, people wouldn't just look at independent as being a joke. If you got an ex-president to run as an independent. And then not only that, I think Donald Trump would actually have a really good chance running as an independent. I think that, there'd be, no. And then, sorry, I lost my train of thought. We were talking about, he was a
Donald
a
Trump
socialist.
being a Democrat, that
Yeah.
like he should make his own party, and I think so too. I think he's kind of like a populist,
Yeah,
and
I do too.
if you actually look at Trump supporters, some of them are actually pretty liberal, and some of them are from the Bernie bunch. It's just like he represents this FU to the establishment, and
Right. And which Bernie kind of did too.
Right.
One of the biggest things with Bernie was that he was a fuck you to the establishment, but then when he's too much of a pussy.
Right.
And that was part of the problem, was that if you want to be an FU to the establishment, it's because I think we're all kind of looking for a JFK out there a little bit right now. I think we're all trying to find like someone like JFK rise up. Which I think it's very hard for a JFK to get into this game. I don't think that people understand how hard JFK fought to be in president, and how hard he fought to be in this system,
Right.
Which is why a lot of people think that the system killed him.
Right.
And so I think that that's a very excellent point. And then, I mean, to my point about like he was very like Democrat, like open, and then like Obama and Biden are both openly homophobic in 2008. Like 12 years ago, not that long ago. I was still alive. Like, and he was on air saying that openly. It was very strange.
They say the most messed up crap. Like, do you know how many people don't know that Biden said that, oh, if you don't vote for black people, you're not black?
Yeah.
Or all this like crap.
Well, and then they blame that on, I guess, a stutter. Like,
Yeah, a stutter. When did you ever have a stutter? This comes out now, like when you're almost dead. Come on.
There was like, I went back and I watched some of his old interviews, and you got like a every maybe 4 minutes.
Right.
And that was the most of his stutter. To now coming out saying that if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you say that's not racist.
I don't either. I don't know how.
If Donald Trump said that, they'd literally rip him a new one.
They would tear him to bits and pieces.
Literally, you know what the thing is, dude? For a long time, I'm a libertarian. I'm not a conservative.
Okay.
But I do align myself with the Republican Party right now because they're not freaking crazy.
Right.
The media's attack on Trump literally made me want to be a Republican. It's just they were so biased. They were just so one-sided, and it was just an attack every single thing. Literally, if he literally said one word, it was just like, how about you tell people the real facts and get it down right now? Like, let's say, for example, like the CNN saying Joe Biden's the elect. The elect technically got certified December. Is actually, he's actually the elect on January 6th. That's when he's actually considered the elect.
Okay.
But like, they'll say nah. They're like nah. They get to decide. It's like they make their own rules. Like, it's my way the side it goes, and if you don't follow my narrative, you're racist. You're all this, and I'm like, how does that make sense? You are alienating a lot of like middle ground people, like who just as a libertarian, like I don't think the government should control how you live your life, like gender, like I'm kind of weird about that crap, but like you do you. I'll respect you.
Right.
Like no one can, as long as you don't infringe upon my rights. Or same thing with like I don't believe in abortion, but like I don't think the government can say that you can't have an abortion.
Right.
Like that's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of people, even though we have a very polarized environment now, a lot of people agree about the same problem.
Yeah,
it's
we
just
do.
the way they go about it.
Exactly.
And it's just like you got to stop being a little ignorant and listen for a second.
Yeah, I know.
If you don't know the other side's argument, then you're not listening and you're not actually there for an insightful conversation.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I talk about on the podcast all the time is the reposting. I can't handle the reposting.
Oh, I hate that so much.
I mean, literally summing up a very complex topic into maybe a couple of sentences on Instagram, completely ignoring the other side's argument, and then posting that. And then someone seeing that, not even thinking about it, not even really digesting it to what it means exactly, and then just hitting the repost button. And then this just spreads. And I don't think that's a good way for people to communicate, is literally repeating other people's words. Like if I repeat someone, like if I repeat Joe Rogan, which I have multiple times throughout my life and on this podcast, it's not Joe Rogan saying it. It's not him saying it. It's me digesting it, and then it's coming out of my mouth in my own way, in my own words.
Right.
Which it may be the exact same point, but it still sounds somewhat differently. With the repost, you're literally putting someone else's other words on there without processing it at all.
And I wonder if like 2 days later they'll remember what they posted.
Exactly. And
it just feeds the machine.
It's terrible. I mean, who would have known that, like, I think propaganda is most easily spreaded through the repost button now.
Right.
I would, like, without a doubt, I think that that's something that you and me can agree with, is literally the repost button right now is spreading 99% of the or not 99, but like a
lot of the propaganda.
A lot of the propaganda.
But this is where media censorship now comes in. Like you're getting Facebook and Twitter who are dictating themselves as publishers, and they don't technically allow free speech. They have subjective speech because they want to get rid of hate speech, which I get. But you're seeing them target conservatives, and you're seeing their voice is not being heard, and now they're being pushed to other platforms like Parler. And then you get the other media internet sources saying, oh, look at where all the conspiracists and Trump supporters go, like they're pointing a negative image. Now these social media companies are not allowing discourse. In our society, right. Those platforms, as sadly as they are, it connects us all now in a different way. That's like when, you know how puzzling it is to see like Trump's posts, like though like he says whatever, and some of them, sometimes he just reposts like other people's crazy bullcrap.
Yeah.
Because he likes the gag or whatever. I don't know. He's one of those weird guys. Either way, you get always now disclaimers saying this isn't real or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Or sometimes they just block his tweets. I'm like, how can you block the president when not hundreds of thousands of people are looking up to him? Or like you start banning people and they don't have an avenue for the conversation.
Right.
Like how is,
I think do Trump's tweets get banned a lot?
Some of them do, and some of them get hardcore censored, and like specifically conservatives. All right, so say for example, I'll just give one for he's not a conservative. His name's Tim Pool, a very famous YouTuber.
Yeah,
he posted
I love Tim Pool.
A tweet about the election, like about the Dominion machines, that the judge released the examination on them, saying that there was actually some version of voter fraud. And they flagged it saying, no, this is false, fake news. And then that's the thing, all these independent fact checkers are saying that this is fake, and then in reality, no, it's not. They if you go into I forgot Facebook's independent fact checker, sometimes you click it, they say, yeah, this isn't real because it didn't actually show this happened on a Tuesday or something like that. It's like but the one minor detail is, now it's just fake news, when the core substance is true.
Still real.
Right. And it's just like that. It's like now we're not allowing people to conversate, and now we're having a dictation of like who can talk and who can't. And this is where we can't grow as human beings.
Do you think that there should be some regulation on social media algorithms and things like that, and on who can and who can't um, be blocked and be censored on these platforms?
I don't think you should be. So the way I go about it, obviously I'm not a lawmaker, but if it was in Christian's world, I'd say this: how about allow free speech?
Right.
You have some racist there, right? I
Yeah.
actually wrote a paper about this. Think about this: some neo-Nazi fascist starts spitting out bull crap on all over his Twitter feed, and then he has random people who follow him. You know what that random people do? They say, "What the hell? What's wrong with you?" It's a negative reinforcer to say, "No, you can't do
Right.
that." You ban them. Where do they go? They don't
So,
go away.
right.
They find smaller platforms like 4chan, Reddit, and all these dark web sites and
Yeah.
create their own niche groups. It
Mm.
polarizes and radicalizes them more.
Yeah.
So instead, how about this? You can put a message saying this tweet might be inappropriate. You click it. You can click it to accept it to keep on going into it, but you don't have to see it. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
a safeguard. Or you can put a strike system, say, oh, you can't talk for this amount of time or whatever, or you can see posts but you can't whatever. Like,
Right.
there can be certain ways, not outright banning,
Yeah.
but you can make it harder to see someone. Sure. I don't know. It's a hard thing, and it's like
Yeah.
right
'Cause-
now in the Supreme Court, this legal protection for them to get is under Section 230, and we're gonna see how it goes. I think Trump's threatened to get rid of that social media protection, which will end up destroying most social media companies. So this is a big thing, and if Biden does actually win, those media companies are under him.
Yeah.
It's going to be basically under him.
Well, I mean, one of the things is that you said that look at Joe Biden's cabinet. Most of it is our like technology groups and things like that now, and that most technology companies are left leaning. No matter
Right.
like they're not necessarily Biden supporters. They're just left leaning.
Right.
And right now, the head of the left is Biden because he's the Democrat Republican and he's our president now.
Right.
And so yeah, I mean, it doesn't really surprise me, but I think that it is a problem when most of our communications nowadays are now leaning towards a certain side.
Right. And like say for example, like Twitter, a prime example is this is like when they have a very solid stance, and I don't think this is a bad thing, but this is an example of a left leaning policy on transgendered people.
Yeah.
You can't say, oh, you're not a man or you're not a female when technically biologically you can never change that. Those are two contradicting views on what gender is. And now the other one's considered hate speech for when for thousands of years it was normal.
Right. Yeah.
And that's just one instance, and I don't think that's a bad thing because you shouldn't target people, but that was one of those left-leaning policies.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's 100% left leaning, and for people to ignore that's not siding with the side. I mean, that's insane. What are your thoughts on transgenders, people? Are you where do you stand on them?
To me, no matter what, you can't change your sex.
Okay.
You can't. You're always a male, and you're always a female.
Okay.
But your gender, although I think gender should be binary because there's certain roles it plays in life, and that's animals are binary, male and female.
Right.
I think it is technically based off human language, right? So I'm okay with them if they want to be called whatever. I'll call them whatever out of respect for them. But in the end of the day, biology, I'll say no. You're not. You're whatever you were originally. Gender, I'll recognize them as what they are.
And like when you go into the doctors, you need to
Right. If you're going to this is the problem I'm having. I'm like, I know you want to be recognized as whatever gender you're switching to, but you are still under the same conditions of what you're biologically.
Yeah.
And like, you can get into serious danger in that. And like now doctors are being threatened if you don't do it the right way, like they want it.
Yeah.
And like, I can't do that. But the thing is my limit to transgendered is it's only transgender. Like you're switching to a he to a she or she to a he.
Okay.
If you want to be called they, I will call you they or whatever, or I'll call you whatever you want. But there's a point where like, think about it like this. It's not beneficial to anybody if you don't keep it in a binary way. And then if you keep they is in a form of like, kind of like an extension. It's just like, okay, I can be multiple things, like, so that means I can be whatever I want. But if you keep it to a binary level, like I said, because there's certain familial roles, it's more beneficial to the gender role. It's the same thing. Say, for example, like this: if we don't make an importance between men and female, women's rights and what women need for benefit for them because of the differences will never be established.
Exactly.
They will never be recognized because there's no
I agree
such
with you on
difference
that.
between in the genders.
Yeah.
This could be whatever you want. So you are then discriminating against women. You know, and it's very dangerous. Like I saw Tulsi Gabbard wants to put it where only biologically you can, whatever biologically you are, that's the sport you can only play. Like through the NCAA and everything. And I
I agree.
100% agree because like, think about it like this. If you were a man for 30 years and then you switch and become like a pro fighter, but a female, you are vestigially a man.
Well, if you're a woman and you take testosterone pills for 30 years and then you go into one of the sports, are you going to be better than the other women? Of course you fucking are.
Of course you are.
Why wouldn't you be? I mean, that one of the biggest things that I get what you're saying when it comes to sex, because I think that sex applies to do two different things that I know of. It applies to the doctor and medical things and sports and competition. There might be a couple other things, but like those are the two things where it's like, sorry, I know you want to be this way and I know you want it, but like
it's for the safety.
It's for safety. It's for fairness of others. It's for so many different reasons. And we will get to a point, and maybe we can't figure something out where there's like another league or there's a certain amount of testosterone or something. But I think that the biggest thing was, I think it was some MMA writer fought a woman. And it was a transgender woman.
Mm-hmm.
Who recently transgendered. So it was like she was 3 years transgender.
Yeah.
And she beat the fuck out of this woman. I mean, just completely just destroyed her. And it wasn't like actual talent. It was like legitimately just
your
she
biology,
had more strength.
it's like,
right.
Women can do a lot of things that men can do.
Yeah.
But there's like, when it comes to physicality, there's a point and there's a reason why we're built different.
I know. Yeah, no, and like I think that we're kind of separate ourselves from animals, and we're still animals. I mean, like humans are just still animals. We're not genderless yet. I don't know. We're not like
Well, they're trying to kill masculinity too.
Yeah, that to me is something I kind of push back on. Is what the fuck are you talking about?
Like, all right, so like, you seen the Harry Styles thing?
I think
So where he wore the dress. Is like,
yeah.
All right,
We talked
I don't
about
have
it on
any.
this podcast.
So my thing is, people had a lot of debates. I'm a very sensuous guy, so people wanted to say, "Oh, he can do whatever he wants," you know, and you know, it's pretty manly that he can do a feminine thing, and they're trying, and I'm like, you know what, you do you, you know, you can. I respect that. Like, you're proud, you can do whatever you want, but you know, there's also other narratives that are being played. It's kind of like you're also trying to redefine what being a man is, saying you can do feminine things, and there's nothing wrong with doing feminine things, but like, you're making a man basically a woman. Yeah. You're just making it normal, like it's nothing. Yeah. And like, you're killing masculinity. And masculinity, there's certain points where, like, say for example, your dad. Like, imagine if you didn't have a dad to tell you don't get that, don't do that, or whatever. Right. Or like, it's not that your mom can't do it. There's just some factor in it that it's your dad. I think
some of it is the girl saying fuck toxic masculinity are girls who can't get guys. And I think the guy saying fuck toxic masculinity can't get girls.
Yeah. That's literally it.
Which, I mean,
I believe toxic masculinity is a thing, but just like, there's a balance, you know?
There's a toxic femininity thing too, though, as well.
They bitch at each other all the time.
I know, exactly. And they're fucking annoying as fuck sometimes. I mean,
honestly.
Like, so to just sit back and say, fuck toxic masculinity. It's like, okay, what are you talking about? What is toxic masculinity exactly? What actions are and aren't? And then it becomes so complicated. It becomes this like own conversation, and it's like,
I know, dude. I think it's me, bro.
How much time do you have?
Like, literally, it's just like, how about this? Moral of the story: toxic masculinity. If you have something wrong and you don't fucking have, like, going through bad times, talk it out. That's it. That's it. That's it.
Yeah. No.
You don't have to be a little bitch about it though, too. It's like sometimes the other thing, people are now are becoming soft. They're like snowflakes. They'll get mad over anything. It's just like, I don't know. Maybe it comes from a Latino background, but my mom's like, get up, get the hell up. You got to do what you got to do. Stop bitching. Keep on doing you. And
Right. One of the things is fuck. I was just about to say something pretty fucking good. I completely lost track of it. It'll fucking come back to me though. I can't fucking remember what I was about to say. Jesus Christ. But yeah, no, it's fucking really weird when it comes to like all this hate on one gender, and then there's like hate on one, like on one particular side. So there's no hate on women. No, like there's like a lot less.
And
of
there's
that.
so much double standards. Like another example is like you see Elliot. You know who Elliot Page, that crap.
No.
So I forgot what show she's from, but it's this actress. Her original name was Elliot. No, Ellen. She transitioned to Elliot.
Oh, I did see this. Yes.
Forgot where she's from, and that's fine. But so now she can play female and male roles. That's because originally in the show she's a female, even though she's now a male.
Right.
There's a double standard here, because months ago, Scarlett Johansson was criticized because she wanted to play as a man for a movie, and she got the role, but social media destroyed her. Why couldn't she?
Yeah.
It's just like, that's the thing. It's just like,
Yeah.
now you guys pick and choose whatever you want.
Exactly.
And it's just like, you got to make it fair.
Yeah.
This is the people who preach equality, but in reality, they do it by sections. They categorize everybody, and what category is you.
Yeah.
And like, like people talk about that with me and my race. They're like, you're so oppressed sometimes. Like some people like white, I don't want to see. Sorry.
Yeah,
Some people will come up to me and they say, "Oh, you're oppressed and all that crap," and I'm like, "Dude, I don't want to be identified by my race.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the first thing when you walk up to me and say, "Oh, yo, that kid's Latino or that kid's Hispanic." I want them to say, "Yo, this is Christian. He's this and that and that." Like, I'm a person,
Yeah, exactly.
That to me, that doesn't matter about what skin color you are.
I
It's
think
just like that category. I don't know.
It was really weird when I first started seeing like do not say, if you say that you don't see color, you're racist. Which to me, I was always confused about, because it was, make sure you, not identify, but recognize,
Right.
like, the race and what has happened throughout our society and how we have mistreated those who are not white and things like that. And so, and to a certain point, I agree with all those things, is that you have to recognize all that. But, like, don't you want to get a point where we don't see color? Like,
Right.
don't you want to get to a point where we all look at each other and we're just humans? Like, I don't look at you as Latino. You don't look
Right.
at me as I'm white. We're just humans. We're just
Right.
humans having a conversation right here. Like, there's nothing about race. There's nothing about all that. We both have different backgrounds and all those different things. But, like, you don't want to get to a point now? Like, you don't want people to say that I don't see color?
Right.
And I mean, it was weird. One of the weirdest things was you're racist if you say you love black babies.
What?
Yeah, this was a big thing. Was
I never knew that.
or it was like, because certain females want to hook up with black guys so that they can have mixed babies.
What the fuck?
And so people are saying that this is racist because that they love like black babies and things like that. And there was I remember there was like an Instagram picture of, it was like a black kid, like it was like 6, holding up a sign saying, at what point do I stop like being cute and you want to like hurt me, or I become violent or something like that. And it's just like, number one, I never thought racists liked black babies.
Yeah,
So, like, I never.
That's weird. I didn't even think about that. That doesn't make sense.
I must have missed this part of the fucking history test or some shit,
dude.
where I
That's fucking
like
crazy.
it's what the fuck does that even mean? And then also, like, if someone does say that they like black babies, you think if Martin Luther King was around, he wouldn't like approve of that. He wouldn't be excited.
He wanted whole hands, man.
I know, exactly.
It's like, this is the perfect time.
I know. And now it's a bad thing. That to me was super weird. I was,
Dude,
and
like, all right. I don't know if you ever said this with your friends. Just saying the word oh, that black guy, or oh, that black person. Like,
Yeah.
people look at you weird. It's
Yeah,
just
no.
like,
you can say
what?
white guy though.
Yeah,
You can say white guy.
they
for
can say
sure.
white guy. I'm like, dude, I tell some other people that all the time, like either other minorities or other people,
Yeah.
other white people somehow.
Yeah.
Like, I have that problem with a lot of white people. They're afraid to say black. I'm like, dude, that's literally your skin. Racism means you are clearly defining that you are superior to them.
Yeah.
Just because you're saying they're black doesn't mean that you're superior to them.
Right. Exactly.
You're racist if you think that.
That was a big thing. Was I forget the book. What was it? It was that old feminist author. I think it was fuck. I forget the name, but I remember my fucking history teacher reading it. It was a really like left book name, and she said in it that she feels uncomfortable going around into a group of like black people.
Oh,
And
is
so
that white fragility book?
Yes,
Yes, dude.
yes, that's what
I'm
it
like,
is.
literally, you have a book admitting you're racist.
I know.
You're like,
and then,
what?
And then she's saying on the book that because she's racist, every other white person is racist. I'm
Right.
like, bitch, that's just you.
Yeah, literally. And
That-
you know what the funniest thing? That Arthur gets paid to go to other places to say, hey, don't be racist when she's racist.
I know. That was, I mean, it's so crazy.
The amount of people who make money off of racism is insane.
It's crazy.
You see Colin Kaepernick? Dude,
Oh.
biggest buffoon. He has a Ben and Jerry's edition ice cream that says "Stop End Racism." He got a Disney deal, and he got cuts for with ESPN. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, so racism? You talk shit about capitalism. You talk shit about how everybody's stopping you from succeeding, yet you literally made money off of racism. It's just like,
Well, yeah, it was one of the, there's a big saying going around going, go left, go broke. And
Yeah.
I don't agree with that statement at all. There's like, some people, because there are some people who go left and then they lose their core audience and they can't sustain themselves.
right.
There's a lot of people who go left and then they gain opportunities.
Yeah,
in
because
fucked
all
up
they
ways.
do is they get to pick at other people.
Yeah.
It's just a trend. It's whatever the trend, and it's just like they don't sustain. They're not going to be a big name once Trump's gone. You think CNN's ratings are going to stay up?
No.
No.
I wonder if they thought that. You think that CNN was like hoping secretly that Trump would win?
Oh,
It's weird because
I
like
don't know.
I
know.
think that the CNN ratings are going to tank
Yeah,
soon eventually.
everyone's-
Especially if Trump gets officially out of office once he's officially gone.
Oh, I want to tell your viewers though this one thing about CNN. If anyone ever tells you that CNN isn't fake news, tell them to look at James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. He's an undercover journalist. He is right-leaning, however. He's very famous. Has a good background. Can't name all his compliments, but whatever. He went undercover. He got live audio from press conference calls from CNNs, like their big heads, and them pushing certain narratives.
Yeah.
They're saying, "Oh, you have to say this because we don't want Trump for that. You have to push this, or don't say that because we don't want the people to know that."
Yeah.
Live recordings in that, and they put it, so when you think like the media isn't lying to you, they're lying to you.
Yeah, no,
I just
for
want
sure.
sorry, but I just sidetracked.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I think saved CNN for a while, I think I saw this, is that the main guy for CNN, he was right winging, right? It was like one of the CFOs or something. He was really right winging and he supported Donald Trump for a while. And then I think he tried a couple segments where it was a little bit more left leaning and his ratings just went
Tank. Yeah.
yeah, and the people who watch CNN are all left leaning, so they're like, we don't fuck with this shit. And then he conformed. It was really weird.
Right.
I remember hearing about that. Is that I think he was like really. I know he was right winging. I don't know if he was a Trump supporter. I might have heard that, and then all of a sudden he tried that. His ratings went down, and then all of a sudden it was done. He was done with it, which was really weird. I mean.
I think this just goes tribute to like how much of his supporters love Trump. Like if you saw like Fox News, they tanked too. Like once they started kind of turning away from Trump, and Fox actually, before Trump won, they were a Jeb Bush guy. They loved Jeb Bush. They didn't want Trump
really?
to win. They started pushing propaganda too, all of saying this bad stuff in the beginning when he was running.
Yeah.
And now towards the end, where they could say finally we can get away from Trump, because I don't think they like Trump. They used it too for ratings.
Yeah.
Now a lot of people don't like him because they didn't talk about the voter fraud ever, or they didn't talk about anything else. And now they're hiding. It's all.
Yeah.
They're starting to notice even the ones that they like, against all political sides, they all have a motive. They're all agenda based.
They're all just in it for the money.
And it's just, and it's like, we live in a republic. People have to realize that first. Like, although we're a democracy, we're a republic, and in order to check on these officials, we need like the media to be our safeguard keepers and tell us and be honest in what they're doing.
Yeah.
And we're not getting that honesty, and now we're getting a dominated side. And one time, where now officials are mixed in with media, and like I told you, even Facebook and all that, and are now incorporating low key into our government.
Yeah.
We're never gonna have that balance. It's now actually not. It's government versus the people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy. It's a crazy time. It's like, it's weird. Like there's even aliens this year. Like honestly, like,
yeah, you want to talk about aliens?
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
you wanna talk about-
I'm ready to talk about aliens.
Oh,
Wait a
we're
minute,
done with this
buddy.
fucking political bullshit. We're
Yeah.
done with it. It's over. We're moving on to aliens, motherfuckers.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah. So
Wait,
the
Brody,
Pentagon.
Let's get some lemonade.
You want to get some more lemonade? We can
Yes,
get some more
please.
lemonade. Hold on. Can we? Oh, I want to see this. Can we, like?
You show them the monoliths, bro.
Hold on. Just you can look at the rest of the fucking basement. Go ahead there. Of course, you can get more lemonade, sir. Do you want anything else? Want a little no juice? Or are you good?
I can just sure, whatever.
All right.
Yeah,
I can get you some.
dude. Have you seen How do you feel about those monoliths?
The monoliths. Now, are those the things that recently the Pentagon just released?
Yeah. I don't know if the Pentagon released that, but like I saw it on the media, like those metal sheets. You know what I'm talking about? From Utah. There was one in Utah. There was one in Romania, and there was one in California.
I don't know. There was a guy on the Joe Rogan podcast recently who said that they have like a bunch of metals that are from off-world that they can't confirm.
Oh, I saw that from the Pentagon. Well, did you see the Israeli guy? What he said?
No.
So this Israeli guy, it was literally came out last week. He said that there's a galactic confederation of aliens, and that they're just waiting for that the whole society in the U.S. and all conflicts around the world ends, and there's some sort of unitary focus, and that they'll come over and they'll help. They'll give us all this new technology and shit. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, how the hell can you have that? And then like even remember, I remember last year a Canadian guy came out of Canadian official. He was an ex-Canadian official. He was saying how there was 4 different types of species in the U.S. government alone. And I was just like, no way. I don't know. It's like I'm a Catholic guy. I don't conform 100% with the religion. I do believe in a higher power, but like I want to see some aliens if there's some aliens. You know what I mean? Like
I 110% think that there's aliens on this world.
there has to be.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We're just getting our shit set up real quick.
No
We'll be
worries.
back. Make them wait. Wait for our beautiful voices to come back.
Dude, this is a good time.
Dude, I'm having a fucking blast right now. This is so much fucking fun.
I love podcasts, you know why? Because like you get to know someone, you get to learn about someone, and like
There's no phones. It's the biggest thing.
Oh,
There's
fuck
no
phones, dude.
Fuck
I know.
phones.
Fuck phones.
Dude, like when I get like, I feel my phone vibrate sometimes during the middle of a podcast. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Literally, that's why I had to flip it. I'm like, that's how they get you. They can put the notification
Oh,
there,
yeah.
pops up. I'm like, oh, it's like fucking candy.
Phone lights up like a fucking slot machine.
Oh, it's
Shit's
literally,
just
dude.
fucking insane.
You get trapped on your phone, dude.
I know, it's crazy. Dude, I was like trying to do homework. Fucking 7 minutes go by on Instagram. Out of fucking
That
nowhere.
happens to me all the time, dude. And it's like I have to put the moon thing and then just put my phone on the side and then like get the fuck away from me. I couldn't do it.
I get mad. Like, actually, like, I'll be like, where the fuck did this time go?
Yeah.
I don't know where the fuck it, like, this is so fucking crazy, that this fucking algorithm just fucking sucks up everything you have. Just your entire motive capacity just gets sucked up in this little tiny machine. Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Literally, yeah. Like when I go on dates, I will not use my phone. I won't bring it.
Yeah.
I'll just kind of leave it in the car. I'm like, I ain't
How
trying
do you
to
get
do
on
that.
dates? How do you get on dates? You go to them, like in the public, you see them and you spot them and you go, mine, or you could use a dating app.
Okay, so me personally, all right. I work better on the field, you know? I'm
Yeah.
a field guy. I'm a field
Right.
worker.
Of course.
But then, like, during this pandemic, you had to use some
Ooh.
Tinder.
Yeah, I wonder how much Tinder accounts rise this pandemic. I haven't really looked that shit up. I wonder if there's you know if they Tinder has stock. I want to know if Tinder has stock. I want to see
Dude,
if
I don't
that
know.
shit rise.
I should invest. I made mad money off stock. No, but like I don't know. I feel like even me, I can't even text, dude. Like that's just not me. I'm such a
can't
person.
text.
I'm like either I call you or I have to see you in person.
Right. I like FaceTime a lot.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
FaceTime like for hours. I love FaceTime, honestly. There is something missing, like with FaceTime, but still.
It's something. At least it's something.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then aliens, the Pentagon released something over the summer saying that they had recovered UFO material, like they
Right.
like of off-world material. They couldn't identify it. And then they released the video from 2004 of that guy. They caught the UFO spinning and flying. They caught it on
I remember
radar.
that. It was like a white thing.
Yeah. It was,
It was crazy.
They had the Tic Tac one. They've reported several. They've reported like the Omnis Disc one, right? They have the Tic Tac one where it looks like almost like a Tic Tac, and then they have like a triangle one that I've heard of. Those are the only 3 UFOs that I've heard of. But they on the documentary Phenomenon, Joe Rogan had people on from
the
that.
Bob Lazar guy.
I think so.
Yeah.
But it was a new documentary. I haven't seen the full thing yet. There was African kids at a school, and they saw this UFO, and they said that these things communicated with them in a weird way, and they said that these little beings who almost look like children said humans are going to destroy the world with technology, or they're hurting the world with technology or in some way.
But like,
And then they came back 20 years later and said the same story. Everything checked out. They all said the exact same things.
Yeah.
They all said that it indeed happened, which is weird because you'll get to like some of the other shit, like with the witch trials particular, where they claim like ghosts were coming out of people and they accused people of murder and things like that. There was none of that here. There was all kids said consistent things that they saw the things happen when they were 8 at this school. And I don't know. It's very strange. It's like it's very weird, especially when a large group of people say that they saw something at the age of 8, and then they come back 20 years later and they all say they saw the same thing.
Right.
That's very strange. I mean, either
Like
they're
something shocked them.
yeah, they're either really fucking committed to this, which either way they deserve credit.
Props to them.
Yeah, props to
Props
fucking them.
You
For
can put the story for that long, then you fucking savage.
And it was just crazy. And then or they're telling the truth.
Right.
Those are the two things that are happening. I mean, over a 20-year period. I know which one I wouldn't fucking keep a secret over 20 years.
That's fucking tough. If you do that, props, man.
Yeah.
But like, no, I get you. I don't know. Like the thing is with aliens, I have like 2 contradicting things besides like all the religion stuff. It's like the way the Big Bang, right? So it's like a bandwidth. So it goes from the middle, some center mass, and it just starts expanding.
Yeah.
And supposedly, I'm just kind of paraphrasing this from like Neil deGrasse Tyson or whatever. He says we're so far from the center that like the closer you are to that mass, time went so much faster, or it's already happened, right?
Oh, okay.
So we're so far out from the center. There should be civilizations that are millions and millions of years ahead of us. Why haven't they seen us now? Like, that's like my thing. Or maybe they have seen us now and we just,
Right.
they're just hiding it,
Yeah.
you know? But then, like, you see the Egyptians, and I'm like, what the fuck? And, like, were they tripping and maybe they saw extra things? Because, like, I also think
Yeah.
that thing, like if you're on some sort of, like, psychedelic, it's actually activating other parts of your brain, like other senses.
Right.
Like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's one of the hard things about old, what is it? What about old paintings and things like that is that most of the human civilizations, they were all on drugs.
Right.
I mean, like, they 99% of
high
them.
on hypotenuse.
I mean, like, I would even argue that that America runs on drugs.
Yeah, America runs on
psychedelics
drugs
now, and
literally.
they're even illegal.
In Colorado, you can actually have psychedelics.
Yeah, fucking finally, let's
I was
go,
like,
bitch.
I know. It was
One of
just
the
like,
problems with that, though, is with the biggest problems with legalizing it in one state is now that everyone moves there.
right.
So that other states are like, oh, see how the general population increased here?
Yeah.
It's like, no, motherfucker. It's because stoners from fucking Utah realized they didn't want to be fucking put in jail anymore. Or they want to be able to take some shrooms and they didn't want to fucking go to jail.
Dude, I have a hardcore stance on drugs. I think all drugs should be, you can do whatever you want.
Do whatever the fuck you want to do.
I think they should all be decriminalized. The thing is, if you, like, fuck up and hurt somebody, you should go to prison for like a time.
That's just fucking a given.
Like, honestly.
a fucking given. It's insane to think that, like, and then I don't even know. It could be, I think sometimes the charges are worse. Like, if you murder someone, sometimes I think that, like, on acid, your charges will be, like, you'll
Like
be
10
charged
times
for
worse. It's because of the war on drugs. It's like, crazy.
What? You fucking murdered somebody. I don't care what the fuck you were on.
Right.
You fucking murdered somebody. How is me going into somebody's house sober, killing them, and then going into somebody's house on acid and killing them any worse?
Right. It's
There's-
the same concept.
It's the fucking, like,
You're
same...
gonna fucking kill them.
like, I fucking killed somebody.
Yeah.
Who the fuck cares?
Right.
Like, I don't... Oh, my God. It's so frustrating. And then, like...
Well, they did it in Spain, dude. Like, you can do whatever drugs you they're legal there, and guess what? Like, their drug addiction went lower. Like,
Yeah.
people, it's like the same concept with alcohol. You start earlier, and when you're younger, like if 16, if, like, your parents start giving you, oh, hey, here's a little sip here and there.
Yeah.
You kind of normalize it, then you won't fucking want it.
Right.
It's like, it's the same concept.
Yeah, one of the biggest things about there's research surrounding the earlier you drink, the more likely you are to become an alcoholic. And the biggest thing that is criticized by that is number one, alcoholism runs in genes. So
Right.
there is proof that alcoholism runs in genes. That's number one.
Right.
Number two, they don't know necessarily who's taking the alcohol. So if there are alcoholics, right, and then they do run in genetics, which there is proof of and is evidence of,
Right.
then wouldn't the alcoholics just start drinking earlier?
But then, I don't know, think about it like this. The alcoholics in Europe and over there, like, I don't know what percentage of them are alcoholic.
I don't know.
Like, that would be my one thing I would probably want to look into that. It's not that I don't
Right.
believe you. But,
Yeah.
like, that's like, I don't know.
'Cause
That's a really good point. Like,
you
I
don't
never thought
know.
about that. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know.
You
And
don't
that's
know.
the kind of
The
consequence.
only way you would be able to test this is you would need to get 100. No, you would need to get like 600 12-year-olds. You need to get 300 who want to drink, and then you would need to give 300 who don't want to drink. Now, half of the 300 who want to drink, you would have to give alcohol to.
Right.
The other one you wouldn't. And
Like
then
Big Mouth,
for
Kenny Brandy.
of the 300 that don't want to drink, you would have to force them to drink alcohol.
Oh, my God.
And then the other 130 you would just ignore.
The most
And then-
ethical approach.
that is literally how you would have to test if drinking earlier causes alcoholism.
I think you're right.
And that's the only way to do it. And and then, good fucking luck.
With the fucking drug. I know. There's definitely crackhead parents who's like, yo, you give me $1,000? Bet. Get my kid a hammer.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, that actually is true.
Like, come on. Like,
yeah, and you would probably have to have some sort of
there's no way they'd let it happen. But
No.
like, that's the only way. You're right. I think you're right. You're onto something.
and then they and it was funny because my therapist told me that. The person who told me that was my therapist. And I remember, like, sitting in school and them telling us that fact after my therapist told me that. And I'm going, you fucking smitty little liar. Like, you fucking little bitch over here. And I think one of the things that why we hate our establishment so much is I talk about this on the podcast all the time is that our school system's really fucked.
Oh, it's definitely
It's, like, really fucking bad. And, like, if you look at any other country, what country just has normal school shootings?
right.
I mean, just like on a fucking monthly basis, there's just one or like 5, right? There's just fucking that happens in the country. There's none. It's only in America. And
What do you think causes that?
I think that it's a combination of things. I think that it's a combination of social media, that social media has started, and that there's a lot more pressure and there's a lot more things, and that it is causing teen suicide as well.
Depression, yeah.
But I think that our school system is getting worse and worse and worse. And I don't think that their methods are changing, and I think that is the problem, is that our world around us is changing all the time, every day. Is that something new happens and that we operate a little bit differently.
How do you think you would feel more prepared?
For school,
Yeah, or like, what would you want to change
what
for like a better
I
system?
would want to change a couple of the core selections. So I would want to change, get rid of like some of the older like math stuff. You don't need some of that. You don't need some of the older English stuff. The MLA format needs to be removed completely. I can talk to you about the MLA format of why I think it's stupid as fuck. I think that there's a bunch of extra stuff that doesn't need to be taught, and I think that you need to get them prepared.
Yeah.
Teach them how to do taxes. Teach them how to drive a car.
100%.
Teach them how to repair a car. Teach them how to raise kids. Teach them all of these very complex things that come with being an adult. And I think that that should be taught in school. Being taught how to handle your emotions is probably one of the biggest things that I think you need to have in a complex society. Because if you don't live in a complex society, you don't really need to give a fuck about emotions. If you lived in the jungle and you got mad about something, you go kill something,
Right.
and then you eat it and you get more food.
Right.
In the jungle, your emotions are almost they progress you. They teach you how to do things. If you get angry, you kill something. If you get sad, you drive harder for something. Like, all your emotions are seen as a good thing in the jungle. They carry you forward.
It's based off of survival.
Yeah, it's rewarding is the word I'm
right.
looking for. And we've evolved with this. Like, this is how we evolved. And so now we're switching to this society thing, and now we need to figure out how to handle our emotions. Because getting mad and getting sad don't help you in a modern society anymore.
Right.
They just don't.
They don't.
And that needs to be taught 100%. There needs to be more leeway with the teachers and the students. Like, the fact that every student has the same deadline when all students are at a different ability level, to me, is crazy. And I think that you see certain kids and they are either get A's on everything or they'll get D's and F's on everything. That should be a problem, because every human is different. Some kids should get A's in certain classes, and that should be seen young as a child, and that should be carried forward automatically, no matter what, because every human has some sort of easy capability. I don't know what comes easy to you, but for me, it was kind of swimming, talking to people. Mm-hmm. These types of things just came naturally easy to me.
Right.
And so, but then you'll see like science, history, English, and math, and they'll all be doing the same thing, and like they'll all be getting A's. I don't think that that's how it should work. I think that there should be, each student should fail at least one class, like each year. Like they should, at least as a child, fail at least one class. Like this is what you're failing at and you need to get better on. You're good at this, this, and this, but you're failing at this. And like the fact that school can blatantly tell you you're bad at everything at there or you're good at everything at there is, to me, is crazy.
Wow.
And so I think that this causes this, really like almost craziness, because then we get into college. So then there's so much pressure built up with college, and that is all taken from, that's all put on kids, right? That the end game is college. You're going to go to college and you're going to get good college. There are some kids who don't feel like they belong in college.
Yeah.
And those kids are now fucking depressed and think that there's no way out of the situation that they're in. And I think that that's a huge, tremendous problem. Apart from all of those things, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I know that there's probably some more problems. Other than that, though, if I really had to sit down and think about it, and I've thought about these things for a very long time, I don't fully know.
I kind of like agree it with some parts. It's just like the way that we go about even like learning. Like certain people are good at certain things, certain people are not. I don't know if my problem is the one thing with like saying creating different pathways and saying different extensions is just then you're kind of creating a class system between people and saying, hey, you're more disadvantaged than me, or whatever.
Yeah.
But then I also see the benefits in what you're trying to say.
I think that
goal.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say though is that there should be certain classes, but like everyone should be equal in these classes.
Right. No, 100%.
Like all classes
the same
should
thing.
be equal. Right.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that what we have right now is actually more discriminatory against kids who don't visually learn. Like if you are able to read things and then repeat things, you're very rewarded in school. Right. No matter your understanding of science, no matter your understanding of technology, math, English, and history, all of those things can be thrown out the door if you can repeat things. If you can take things in, memorize it like a robot, and then throw it up on a piece of paper, you'll get rewarded for it.
Yeah.
But like if you're someone like me or like someone like you who likes to think things deeply, who likes to sit down and have a conversation about them and think things deeply, we're not rewarded.
Right.
And so I think that there should be different classes of people who learn differently as well.
I think you're right though about like even college. Like we created a society saying you have to go to college, right?
Yeah.
But think about this: the amount of people that go to college for things that are not going to make you money. Like I know this is like fucked up to say, but like you're not. It's really hard if you're an art major or an English major to make money. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
Like if you're not going to be a teacher, it's going to be hard unless you're like the top 1%. And like in college, anybody can be an art whatever.
Yeah.
As long as you just pass the certain guidelines.
Right.
And this is the thing. And then people will start pushing for free college. And I'm like, wait, so I'm going to pay for you to go to college to something that doesn't make money, that's not beneficial to our society.
Yeah.
When I can go with my taxes and other things. But then how about instead we push a society where, hey, how about maybe you don't have to go to college. Think about maybe you do want to pursue this thing. Maybe I don't even think a degree should determine whether you're good enough for a job.
Yeah.
If I was an employer, I wouldn't look at it like that. I'm like, there's so many dummies who are in Harvard who get there because their daddy paid for it or they got in by their name and they're nothing. You know what I mean? It's just like, how about you judge someone based off experience, their work ethic, X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Like we have to push towards that culture. I don't know.
Yeah, when I hear like, I feel the exact same way when I hear about free college. I go, do we need college?
Yeah, like
do you need it? I don't think you need it. I'm not going to college. Well, I don't plan on it. But I think that going back to what I was saying is that that's probably the root of most of these school shootings, most of these teen suicides.
It's all depression, man.
It's terrible.
Like you see all these kids who are the shooters, and it's just they get bullied. They've done something happened to them. They got molested. Like it's crazy stuff, and I feel bad for these kids. But then no one's there for them.
Yeah.
And then and then you would. people attack the gun. I'm like, all right, the gun didn't kill the
Yeah.
kid, you know?
Yeah.
And then I say to this like this, like,
It's funny when the riots started happening is that they completely lost that gun argument. I haven't
I
heard
know. I've
that
literally
dropped.
I've subtweeted people. I've told people, I'm like, yo, you remember
Yeah.
when you guys said there would never be a revolt of people destroying things, or
Yeah.
there would never be any autonomous
Exactly.
zones?
Yep.
It's like, haha, joke's on
Yep.
you.
They happened.
It
2020.
happened.
And
2020, bitch.
yeah, no, it was it. That argument, I remember like never hearing about it again as soon as the riots
There was a
started.
huge uptick in gun sales. Did you know
Oh,
that? Like,
there was.
huge, like,
I remember. Yeah. No,
yeah,
no,
during
no,
the
no. I remember.
during the
They
pandemic,
were.
but there's no like shootings. Anybody?
There was. They were out. I remember that. I remember hearing that the United States government was out of guns, and I went, "What? What happened? What's going? We're out of guns? What do you
don't think
mean?"
riots are gonna not escalate and go to suburbs? You're crazy.
That was the most concerning thing when I saw that couple, that 50-year-old couple
On their own property, right?
on their own
Yep.
property coming out on guns, and then they were like, "These are peaceful protesters." I saw in the story. I go, What are you? What are you talking about? These were peaceful
They were literally
protesters.
destroying it, and they were on their property.
They're on their property.
It's
yeah,
like,
I don't.
this
There
is why
was
the amendment was
fenced.
there.
It was fenced in neighborhood,
Right.
and I think that they broke down the gate and they came out with guns. By the way, dude, I was talking about this today. That guy came out shaking, holding the gun.
Yeah, I
He
know.
get-
"Oh."
old man, get off my lawn! Get off my lawn! Oh, I'm gonna get you guys. And the Antifa is just fucking, just fucking
Yeah, I know.
pussy ass
Fucking
motherfucker.
pussies.
I know,
I don't
it's
know,
fucking
dude.
funny
Like,
as
when
shit.
I see, like, I don't support the Proud Boys 100%, but like when I see them beat up Antifa, I'm like, good.
Yeah.
It's just like a bunch of pussies.
I've heard that on bunch of things is that like, yeah, it's satisfying to watch, but you gotta let the U.S. government take over. But like, where were they? I mean, for the Antifa.
Well, the thing
thing.
is, their own governments were saying no, don't step in. Like Trump said multiple times he wanted to send the National Guard.
Yeah.
But then they called him authoritarian fascist when those Antifa members and other rioters were destroying everything. It's just like, how can you let that happen?
Yeah.
Like there's a limit, you know. But people aren't reasonable now. It's just like it's just this growing divide, I guess.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it is. I wanted to, before you get out of here, I wanted to talk about your mother is a immigrant. You're
Yep.
a first generation immigrant, and the right is known to be very hard on immigrants, on things like this, on immigration and not letting people in and stuff like that. And there's a lot of people saying that it's a lot harder to get in this country today than it is prior.
Right.
And what would you say to that?
Well, I'd say to this, there's many immigrants who believe immigration reform for the first part isn't racist. It isn't
Okay.
racist. It's not
Yeah.
targeting people. Like, you have to understand, Europe did this with the refugees. Like, they let all their people in, and there was upticks in crime rate and upticks in all these other problems because of a massive population. In the United States, we have a huge problem that we can't even support, or we're trying to support our middle class and lower class individuals. And if we're increasing in our population, how are we going to take care of the ones that are actually ours, you know?
Yeah.
And like, I'm 100% down for a pathway to citizenship. I think that's amazing. I think you should do it the right way.
Yeah.
You know? And I understand why illegals. The thing is, I do have a little bias. I don't think illegals should be kicked out of the United States, as long as they're not criminals.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the thing. Like, you have to buy into society. It's like we have certain safekeeping. Is like, how can you give someone who's technically not a citizen, like Democrats push that they want to give illegals a vote, and like, why should foreign influence who are not technically 100% a part of our government have influence in our own settings?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, it's not like I don't want to turn a blind corner, but like, we have certain protections and provisions. Like, I say to people is just like, there's a lot of immigrants who even understand that, like from South America too. Like, it's just the way the media frames it. Like, even like in South America, a lot of these countries were it had taxed by increasing population, and they had to close their own borders because it was just too much. I
Right.
don't know. It's just
There was a guy on Joe Rogan the other day, and he said that he wants 1 billion people in the United States. He wants 1 billion, not like right now, not like tomorrow, but like
yeah, eventually.
80 years, like something like that. He wants 1 billion people, and he says that one of the reasons why is because China. One of the reasons that China's doing right now is that they have a lot of influence over what is it, like Star Wars, like Disney, like things
Right.
like that, because there's so many people over there. Their market's so big that now
Yeah.
we can, the side to more literally racist societies,
Right.
literally more homophobic societies. Like there's no doubt, like
Right.
on that, and we side with them more now that he was saying that we need more people over here. Um, which to me, which to you, you brought up a good point, which was we can barely support our middle class, and I think that I think we can support our middle class. I think that the people um, running the shit aren't doing well. I think that they're either taxing too high and they're not giving back enough, or that there's not um, enough regulation so that there's able to scam money or something like
Right.
that on both sides. Um, I don't know. What would you say to that?
Well, I think it's just like people don't even know how our system really works. Like
Yeah.
people are saying the rich are benefiting for so much and they never help or whatever. Like you have to understand the role of how capitalism works and how people benefit. Like you need rich people in your capitalist society because all their wealth is technically it's accumulated back to you. Like all that money in the bank, where do you think it comes from? Part of it's from the Federal Reserve, and part of it's from all these rich business owners. They fuel those economies. These business owners have these companies that are giving thousands and thousands of people money,
Yeah.
livelihood. It's like you have to have that, if you know.
Yeah. No,
Um,
which I fully agree on the billionaires part is that I've heard a couple things. I think it was Steve Steele. I don't know. I forget what he was, but he's in the 1%. During the 2008 striker crash, when there was protests and things, he went down and he said that it's not the businessman's fault. It's the people in Washington's fault
right.
for giving the loans. It's not the people who are accepting them. It's the people who are literally letting this happen. And he's in the 1% group. And he says that the taxes are too high. That I want to give my people more money. I want to give their wages more. I want to donate more to charity. I want to do things and innovate my money to make more money so I can give more money to charity, so I can make the wages better, so I can give more jobs. And he's talking about all these things, but he's saying that the taxes are sucking up all that money.
Right. And that's why Trump benefited Americans. Like when he cut that corporate tax, he
Right.
made these companies come back to the
Right.
United States.
And then I think that there's also, so you get that side of the story, right?
Right.
And then I think that there is the problem, which I don't know, how much did Donald Trump pay in taxes? Because we were told by the New York Times that he only paid about $700.
I think that thing is complete BS.
Okay.
That whole tax thing, it's like, how can you have an unverified source, right? It's like if we're having a standard
Yeah.
of what the news is, like one for the first off, if you publish someone's tax returns, that's illegal. I want to make that clear. Like, so
I didn't know that.
that's why they're saying unreliable source, so they're not taking any blame for it. I don't know. Like, if this is where I come to the hypocrisy, I'm like, you got emails from the New York Post, and the New York Post saying about Hunter Biden's emails, yet that says, oh, it's uncredible. They take that down, but you can't verify the source for Trump's tax
Yeah.
returns. You know, so like
That was
I don't
very
know if I can
frustrating.
believe that.
But there is a lot of people who say that like this does happen and things like that, where these billionaires find shortcuts. So they'll find shortcuts, and then they'll only end up paying as much as the average American citizen. And So I've heard a couple arguments to that. I've heard that to counter this, we need more taxes. And I'm like, okay, well, for the people who are already paying the taxes fairly, you're just going to hurt them. The people who are already unplaying fairly, you're just going to give them a new obstacle to overcome. And I think that if you make the taxes too high, you're going to start pushing people away from paying the taxes legitimately. And so I get that. I forget who it was, but the guy. Do you know what the Hill is?
Yeah,
The Hill. Yep. So the guy from there, the Republican guy, he says that or more right wing guy, he says that if we secured just our taxes right now, we would make over $1 billion a year from what we're already making. Right. And so I think that we should secure our taxes, number one. I think that we should make taxes actually lower so that you let these businessmen grow. But you need to make sure that everyone's paying the taxes fairly.
Right. But then this is my other thing. Like, I 100% agree on everyone paying fairly. But there's another layer to it. I don't know how much it plays a role, but Trump also said in his debate where he got tax cuts that from the Obama administration. Yeah. It's like sometimes they're getting tax cuts for what? Like, oh, it's because they're building government infrastructure that benefits the people. It's like Trump, specifically him. He's a real estate guy, and that's what he actually did for Obama. I don't know how much of a deficit that is, but there are other externalities that people have to play for. I think people are looking at things too kind of superficial, and I hope one day Trump sends his tax reports, but like I don't think he's entitled to. But yeah, I think that's a growing concern that for me personally, I have like a kind of like a radical view of how taxes should be done. I'm like, everyone has to pay. So say everyone has to pay, or I'm gonna just say 13%. Everyone has to pay 13%. Yeah. Taxes of their total thing in taxes. Everyone, so that means the billionaires and millionaires. 13% is a lot, you know.
Right.
I'm just making up that number. But
I've always thought that too. Is that so? Like when people are like, so the more you make, the more percent you pay. I'm like,
right.
What?
That doesn't benefit them.
That's what a percent is supposed to do. Is that so? Whatever money you're making, you're still paying like the same
as
amount.
Everyone else.
Right. But like it's makes it relative.
Right.
Is that the percent is the 13% of what you make.
Right.
That's what's supposed to make it fair.
Right.
I've never really understood the whole so once you make this amount you pay 50% more. I'm like, so
it disenfranchises people. I know. I don't agree with it.
So let's say theoretically if you make $90,000 a year. Yeah. Okay, $90,000 a year. You have to pay 13%. But if you make $100,000, you have to pay 20%.
That's a lot.
So
that's crazy.
Wouldn't you be making less money in total?
Yes, you would be making less money.
So how the fuck does that make any sense?
It doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make fucking sense.
Make sense. It's just how officials like to get with their their supporter base.
Yeah, I mean when you, I don't even know, when you can look at things like this. And one of the things with a rule book is that I don't think a rule book is really supposed to how humans are supposed to interact. Is because once we see a rule book, we find out try to find out every slippery slope type thing. It's really weird. I get it, and it makes things more organized, and I like having laws.
Yeah. But
I don't think that's how humans' evolution is supposed to work. I don't know a way around it, so I'm not saying fuck laws.
I've never thought about it like that.
But I don't think because when I see a list of rule books, I'm looking for the dumbest thing on the rule book. Right. I'm like, what the fuck can I tear this up for? And maybe that's just me. Maybe that's the fucked upness of me. But that's immediately what I do. And here's another one. Is that 21 you can drink in America. Right. That seems to be an exceptional age and whatever and whatnot. To most people that sounds good. Okay, what happens when you're 21 and 11 months? I mean when you're 20 and 11 months. Can you go to jail for illegal drinking then? 20 and 11
I
months.
know. Yeah, you will.
Like what?
That's fine.
What
Yeah,
the
I know.
fuck is that? A month difference is really gonna change the whole outcome. Like deciding you can go to jail or not going to jail, getting something on your permanent record is decided in a month
Yeah.
of the word age.
Yeah.
Like that to me just doesn't make any fucking sense. That's not also how humans work. Is that there needs to be some sort of gray area.
Yeah.
But we unfortunately do not have that in our society. I don't think. Is that weird?
Yeah, I 100% agree. Human nature. That's the cool thing about humans. They're unexpectable. They're
I like
unpredictable.
humans. You like humans?
I sometimes I get really annoyed,
Yeah.
but like I don't hate. I don't want to hate on everyone.
Yeah, no,
No.
I keep seeing like people, especially from our generation, is like, oh, I hate everyone. I'm like, there's so many of us.
I know,
You
dude.
hate all of us. There's so many people,
Right,
7
dude.
billion
I know.
on the world, and you hate like a majority of them.
That's why I talk about even like Shaw's drama, like I said to you, dude, it doesn't even matter. At 5 years later, this will never cross your mind.
No.
It's like sometimes things are not worth like crying about or like being stressed about. It's just like I don't know, live your life and like be confident in yourself.
You know, I wasn't gonna tell anyone this, but I'm feeling a little good right now, Christian. You got me feeling a little good. I don't know how I feel about it, but I got scammed out of 1,900 recently.
I got scammed too. Let me tell you, you go here first.
So I recently just got scammed. I think it was a scam. This guy's still telling me that I'm gonna get my money back, but I don't think so. I got scammed at $1,900 in high school. And it was.
How'd you feel? First reaction.
I honestly felt so depressed. I remember my self-esteem literally not even being able to turn on the radio and listen to like my favorite rap songs because my like self-esteem was like you're not fucking allowed to do this. You're a piece of shit. And it was a humbling moment because it was also like you're still 17, you're still kind of a kid. Unfortunately, I know you don't want to be, but you still kind of are. And I just kept moving. And like 1,900, that's 19,000 hours, I think, of like minimum wage or some insane number. And that's what I had to do, but I lost it, and you're going to keep going, and you're going to find something to keep pushing this forward. And honestly, one of the biggest things is podcasting. Is coming on here, being able to have a fun... I was excited, like, for you to come here today, honestly.
Thanks, man.
Like, I was
I'm
really fucking
excited.
excited. Yeah, no, bro. You're great, bro. I mean, it's awesome having you on here.
Thanks, man.
You want to talk about your scam thing? Go ahead. Talk about your scammer.
Oh, dude, this is kind of bad. All right, so it was in it was the summer. I used to have a bank account with Santander, and so on Instagram, this random, those stupid bots, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like one hit me up, and I didn't look at it for like, I've seen this thing. It was just like just there for a month, and then one day I just wanted to kind of delete them all, but then I clicked on one just randomly, and I went on their account. And I was like, oh, there's kind of photos from kind of like in the past. So I'm like, this might not be a bot. And so I said, I was drunk one day and I was like, fuck it. I'll just text it.
Yeah.
I texted it, got into, I on and off talking. But like after the first couple texts, she's like, do you want to be my sugar baby? And I was like, I was drunk as hell. I was like, do I have to like do anything sexual? And she's like, nope, just friendly conversation. And I was like, this is my this was like, I was so drunk, but I was like, this isn't real. This can't be. So I started playing on with it like here and there, like for like a week or so. She goes, what's your email? She sends me this check, and I'm drunk again at Gavin's house. And I'm like, Gavin, she actually sent me a check. It said $1,900. No, not 10. It was $1,460, and it was like signed for it and everything, and like the back and front and everything. And I was like, holy fuck. It wasn't her name, though. And I was drunk, and I was like, okay. I went online. I looked. I'm like, if I pass this in, will I be will I get a charge or not? Because I did
Yeah.
not. If it was real, it was like, holy shit, this is amazing. Like,
Right.
I just got a real check from this fucking lady.
Yeah.
And if it's not, they just take the money back and I overdraft.
Yeah.
So I ended up, the money went through after like 3 days, and I was like, holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit. I was like, no way. I just got this free money. I blocked that lady, sat on it for like a month because I didn't want to touch it because just in case if the check bounced back. And yeah, I thought I was smooth sailing. And then one day I was about to spend it. And it's just like, uh-oh, got to check the call from them. They were like, yeah, fuck you. You tried to scam us. I'm like, I genuinely thought this was actually a real check. This is not my fault. All right. But if you don't want me, bye. And then that's happened. That happened
Holy
all the
shit.
summer.
Damn.
But like, I didn't end up having to owe money. I owed them like $15 because they had to take it back because it bounced. But yeah, so that was my scam.
Damn. Well, yours was a smart scam. My guy was what happened was I met him 4 times.
You met him before?
I met him 4 fucking times.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's still got me. Yeah, no. So for any of you asking out there, looking at a guy who's asking you for money, and maybe you met him in real life, still could be a scammer. It's great because I grew up and I always thought scammers were all online. Like I never thought that an actual scammer could be in person.
Yeah.
And nope.
That's so tough, dude.
Nope.
Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. But you know, you learn from it. You know?
Yeah, no. I try to, man. I mean, I just try to keep going and.
Like that's how everyone does.
Fucking know now, dude. I mean, literally, I remember that night coming home, literally like in shock. And then the worst thing is that, what are you gonna do? You can't take it out on your parents.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh well, I guess I'll play Star Wars now. That's what happened, and
you know, dude. But like,
I'm chilling now.
The downs, all the downs like that happen in life. They're growing moments.
Yeah.
Like now you know better, and it builds character. And
Yeah,
like
no,
honestly, as unfortunate it happens, it's kind of a good thing. Like now you build yourself.
As I was like doing and I was like doing some shit and whatnot, I felt like I lost joy in some things.
Yeah.
And one of the things I lost joy in is the past couple podcasts is that like I felt like it was a chore. Like I have to come and do this, and it's like you don't have to do anything. You're choosing to do this, man. And not only that, it's a fucking blast. I come
100%.
here and like I mean, you were here. You have fun.
I had fun. Thanks, dude, for having me again.
Anytime,
this is a great
bro.
time.
This is fucking great. But I mean, I'm having a fucking blast right now. I love it. I love doing this, and I'm just gonna keep on doing it until I get somewhere. Yeah. And,
yeah, man. I'm gonna follow your journey, man.
Yeah.
I'll keep going.
Absolutely. All right. Before we end up, I want one more thing, and then we can wrap this thing up. You got any like where are you in life right now? Let's just tell everyone where you are. You're in college,
I'm in
right?
college.
Yeah, you're in college right now. What year are you in?
I'm a junior now.
Junior now. Jesus fuck.
I know, dude. It fucking flew by.
Flew by. How fast did high school go by?
High school was like a dream, and then it was a good dream, dude. But like, and then just like college goes by so much faster. But like, I don't know. If I had to give advice to anybody who's going to college, one thing would be this: even if you have a plan, just make sure and expect that sometimes the plan doesn't go the way you want it.
That's always been my thing too.
And it's just like sometimes that is the plan in the end.
Exactly.
Like it's just like you got to go with the flow, and like you know who you are. You've gotten to your place. You've gotten to that point in life for a reason. So just stick to your guts.
Right. Yeah, no, and that was the biggest thing with this podcast is that it started out with 3 of my friends. We were doing this podcast.
Yeah, that's the best time, dude.
Dude, we started out and it was 3 of my friends, and they wanted to upload. They didn't want to upload the first episode, and I go, "It is great. I want to do this."
Yeah.
And it's gonna happen. They went, "Why don't you do your own podcast, man? You do this, you do it, whatever." They have their own right now, the Lost Lighter podcast. Go check that out. It's their first episode is uploaded. It was okay. It's pretty good. It was, it's not Kpush podcast, but
Oh, of course. Yeah.
but
I have to
it's
plug
all
in
right.
real quick. I gotta give my little plug in real quick, guys. If you want to learn more about politics, follow What's Up America on YouTube. I'm on Spotify and Apple. Also on Instagram. What's up dot America.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You have your own podcast. Your podcast is a little bit shorter, right? It's like 20-minute
So
episodes.
yeah,
You cover like certain subjects.
right. It's like, yeah. I my goal is I want to have probably 20 minutes, two episodes, 20 minutes, one longer 45, and then a Sunday guest. That's
Yeah.
the goal. It's kind of harder because
It's
like
good. It's a good goal. One of my
Yeah.
goals is that I want to get a booth. I want to get like a restaurant booth
yeah.
set up, and then we'll have like we'll have this podcast going, which will be more serious.
Yeah.
Like we'll have funny parts, of course, and we'll joke
Of
around
course.
here, but like more serious. We want to talk about the president, what's going on
Yeah.
with the religion, what's going on with all that shit. We want to talk about all those things here. But like the booth, I want a booth, and I just want to dick around.
Dude, you gotta get me on that.
I
Man.
fucking
I would
will.
actually love to be a part
Yeah,
of
no,
that.
just fucking
That'd be sick.
get not sober, I should say.
Oh, dude.
And then just get fucking on there, start recording, and go fucking wild.
You know, those are the best fucking episodes when you just lose.
I'm very excited for that. I don't know when that's gonna come, but that will be coming eventually. It's one
That's
of
a
my
promise
long-term-
right here, guys. That's a promise.
Oh yeah, no, I've been promising it for the podcast for a while, but we're getting it going. We're gonna do it one day. I'm gonna say, should I put it?
You should give an estimate.
I should give I'll give a timeline. I'll say episode 60.
Okay.
All right, you have by episode 60.
I'm expecting it, dude.
60 weeks probably or so. But we'll get the booth, and we'll get that shit on. We're done, I think. I think
All right,
we're
I think that was good.
wrapping it up.
Thanks
I
for
think we
having me,
covered it
man.
a lot of times. Dude, this has been a fucking blast.
Thank you again,
Yeah, I want you to
dude.
come on all the time. It's been so much fucking fun. Anything else you want to say? You shouted out your shit. You
Yeah.
talked about everything.
What's
we
Up
got everything
America?
done.
Yeah,
Alrighty
thanks,
then.
bro.
What's Up America? Go check it out. It's on Spotify. It's on YouTube. It's on everywhere. And I'll see you guys later, guys. Good talking. Peace out, bro.
Peace.